with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Get ready for the music event of the season. Powderhorn Porch Fest returns Saturday, September 20th, 4 to 10 p.m. for another legendary evening of 13 epic performances across 3 uniquely Powderhorn Porch stages featuring genres from hip-hop, R&B, surf punk, Latin folk, and more. Powderhorn Porch Fest spans 2 blocks on 17th Avenue South between 32nd and 34th Street. KRSM will be spinning beats with the diverse sounds of the South Side all night long. Treat yourself to Minneapolis' favorite food trucks, then grab a refreshing cold drink at the Beer Garden. The festival's family-friendly by day with activities for kids and an unforgettable celebration for adults after dark. Best of all, Powderhorn Porch Fest is free to attend with proceeds supporting the community programs of Powderhorn Park Neighborhood Association. Don't miss out on this one-of-a-kind music and community celebration. Powderhorn Porch Fest, September 20th, 4 to 10 p.m. Details at ppna.org/porchfest.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly sunny skies today with a high near 86. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 67. And Thursday, partly cloudy with a high around 78. Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the standard for savory satisfaction. Experience the perfection of their Philly steak, turkey bacon, avocado, and more. Elevate your meal with freshly fried fries or onion rings. Visit mavericksbeef.com or visit them off Lexington and Roseville. Maverick's Real Roast Beef.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Wednesday. Good to have you with us. Matt and Patrick here, 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Hey, let me give you my impression of my reaction to energy prices right now when I opened up my energy bill. What? Yes. Now, you probably recognize that from your own energy bill usage. Energy is getting kind of expensive here because, reasons. This is why one of the important things is that there are options for you, like solar, which is a fantastic option for you. And we need to talk more about this, especially since the rules up against this stuff is getting more complicated due to kind of the decisions of the federal government. And so you need someone that's going to be able to help you navigate how to take care of this, especially for commercial buildings. Now, once again, residences are one thing. For commercial buildings, these energy prices are got to be extraordinary. That's why it's a good idea, especially if you got a roof that you can put some solar panels on, exploring the idea of the reliability and cost efficiency of solar is a good idea. And All Energy Solar is going to be having a commercial solar lunch and learn to cover the greater detail about solar power for commercial buildings. This is going to be on Friday from noon until 1:30 at their offices in St. Paul. Kind enough to join us right now to talk a little bit about this is Michael Tallheimer. He is the Director of Business Development for All Energy Solar, and he's kind enough to take some time today to talk about this. Hi, Michael. How are you today?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me. Great to be a part of the AM 950 family again. Thanks for connecting.
Well, and thank you because, and once again, we're kind of all in this together. There's a lot of people that are kind of coming under fire, and I made the joke last hour about Trump now recommends we all eat coal, but that's kind of not exactly far from the truth. I mean, this idea that solar power is something that they're trying to stop. The reality is solar power is proven time and time again to be pretty much the best way to go for energy. It's clean, it's efficient, and it's cost effective. I mean, it's a win-win-win across the board.
Yeah, it is true, and that's something that I think that we have a lot of discussions all the time with customers who are reaching out to us, and they unfortunately get concerned by what they're hearing in the media and in some of the leaders in Washington kind of attacking these renewable alternative sources of energy, when really the main intention of them is to help people lower their operating costs, whether you're at your house or managing your family's books, or at a large or a small business trying to keep the lights on for your employees and customers. So without a doubt, we know we've got great technology at our fingertips, and in spite of some of the changes that are coming through, we are confident that there's still a great place for this and that we can still help a lot of people along the way.
Now, we're not going to talk necessarily about residential today, but if you are interested in residential solar power options, All Energy Solar, give them a call. Let's talk a little bit about commercial, though, because there has been there have been a lot of companies out there that have realized they've got a lot of roof space. 80% of it is open and available to put something on, and they're looking at their energy costs too, and they're realizing if you can end up cutting that monthly check down dramatically, well, that's a win-win across the board. Talk about that, because this is something which you're seeing more and more companies embrace the idea of commercial solar power.
That's true. And I think when you look just broadly at businesses and the way they spend their money and they operate, payroll, mortgage, and energy, those are the top three. It's really hard to cut down your payroll if you don't cut your people, right? And if you're going to try and grow your business, hopefully that's still a part of your plan. Mortgage, payments, that can fluctuate depending on the circumstances, but a lot of times you find properties are under a mortgage or under a lease. Energy is one of these constant factors that's always increasing. We haven't seen energy rates decrease with any great duration for decades, and nobody who can opine about where energy costs are heading, even as our energy mix diversifies, are suggesting that we're going to start paying less for energy over time. So with that, alternative energy like solar gives a great solution that's not only has a lot of benefit early, but also the long tail of benefit is dramatic, because if you can offset as much of the energy that you have to pay for from your utility day in and day out, that's going to pay dividends that just increase with time. And that's something that more and more businesses realize the value is significant.
We have to discuss this a little bit like a tax preparer or a financial advisor. The policy initiatives around solar, as we have learned, are changing almost daily. You got state issues. Sometimes you have local issues. You also have federal issues there. Having you guys to navigate that for people, talk about that, because I imagine there is an element of education that you yourselves have had to constantly, being like an accountant, like a financial advisor. You're constantly have to stay on top of it, because you need to make sure you're understanding the rules and how to get the maximum benefits for a customer.
Without a doubt. And we have a phrase that we've coined in the industry called the solar coaster. And a lot of times that's because you feel this kind of up and down movement of new policies entering and exiting the market, new rules and regulations to follow that apply one year, but maybe not the next. That's true. But what's important is that you have a trusted partner to demystify that for you. And that's something that we hold, really closely to the intentions that we have at All Energy Solar with every customer. Be transparent and upfront, but also be knowledgeable about the specific, really micro level implications for a customer's property. I might have a client that has commercial facilities across the entire state of Minnesota or other states around the country. We could devise the same project solution for each of those facilities, but the actual story of how the net flows of benefits come back to the business might be different site by site. And that's okay. It's just important that, again, you have that reliable source to guide you along the way and show you that true value in this type of project exists. But really drill down to the specifics of your property, your business, your facility, your utility provider, and sometimes your city and state, because programs do vary. And that's part of what keeps us busy every day.
And it's not something that you want to, and nothing against other people. There are people that do this stuff on the side and stuff, but no, you've gotten to the point now where you need to have a specialist like All Energy Solar involved in this because of the complexities of this. Talk a little bit about safe harboring, because the way I understand it, you're looking at, for a lot of companies, this is a large scale project. And so you need to make sure you have people that understand not just the current situation, but how to maximize the current situation as that situation can change down the road, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's been talked about a lot in 2025 as the big beautiful bill has been passed through the legislature is what does this mean for us relative to some of the really robust tax incentives that have always been a part of the conversation? I say always, but for the last several decades, we've had the ability to leverage tax benefits that the government has supported here in the United States. There's a lot of new rules to follow. And one of them that's particularly important for business owners to be aware of is that these really robust tax incentives are now going to face a much shorter time horizon before they're gone. But unlike our colleagues and friends that focus in the residential space, there is no sharp cliff for commercial properties at the end of this year. And you just alluded to kind of the choice phrase of the year right now, which is safe harbor. This is a tax provision that's still within the tax laws that allows a commercial property to just activate essentially their project with some minimal investment in the current year and essentially earmark or reserve the full value of the tax credits that are associated with the purchase and give that business many years of runway ahead of this year to actually complete that project. The rules do start to change in 2026 and 2027, 2028, before a lot of these credits are projected now to be eliminated. But we still have time to help a lot of businesses now secure the most value. And that's why we're as busy as we are as we approach the fourth quarter here.
You and I have talked about the cost. I mean, I think the way you said at the beginning is like your biggest ones are payroll, mortgage, and energy. So you can't really cut the other two. So you can look at energy. You look at as well, kind of getting through the weeds and getting through the confusion of all this, and having an expert there with you to be able to guide you into this project. Let's talk about this as far as, I imagine there are some people out there that might be the decision makers or the owners of a company. It's like, okay, I'd like to do this, but I don't want to disrupt my production. I don't want to disrupt my office. Talk a little bit about that, because I imagine for the most part, there is, when it comes to this stuff, the way I'm seeing it installed, it really isn't much of a disruption at all, really, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, our aim is to provide a service that doesn't disrupt a customer's business. We can typically mobilize our installation teams to a commercial property and complete effectively the entire installation work, whether that takes a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, without having them adjust their operating schedule, without having their employees need to take days off of coming in to the facility. We do tie in our systems to the power infrastructure at the property. So there's a bit of collaboration with the utility provider and a bit of downtime to connect those systems safely when it's time to do that. But we work around our customers' schedules. And this is something that we really pride ourselves in, is just being extremely collaborative and communicative with our customers so they know exactly what to expect, but not to interfere with their operating business. And that doesn't just go for the installation part of the project. There's a lot of development from the time you have a concept in front of you to the time our trucks show up with the installation. And we don't aim to deter any attention away from the core business while we in the background are working to prepare everything that's necessary to make that project a success. So minimal impact in terms of, keeping the lights on, keeping your employees and your machines operating. And yet at the end of the process, we really accentuate the operation once our projects are switched on and the customer's up and running with solar.
And if you're in management of a company, and there's another element too, which I like to talk about, because I know people that work for companies that do have solar. You get a better relationship with the employee, you get a better relationship with the customer, because it shows a commitment there that's not just a fly-by-night kind of thing. You're looking at doing the responsible thing. And whether that is your employees or the customers, that conveys a very good point to everyone out there.
Yeah, it feels good to be able to provide a service and a good that doesn't just satisfy one purpose or one need. And that's really the case with solar energy. Certainly, it's going to affect the bottom line of the business. You're going to have a lot more cash in the bank to free up for other endeavors that you have when you're not paying as much as you're used to in utility costs. But without a doubt, the sustainability message, even if the current administration is trying to tamp that down right now, look around the world. That is not going away. That is an important factor, and people do care about that. So it's really important that businesses are taking their communities, their constituents, their customers and their employees' feelings for these types of projects to heart. And, also there's a lot of objectives that we have as individuals and as companies and as cities and as states that are separate from maybe the agenda of the federal government. And we need to obviously hold what's closest to us close to our heart, and make sure that we feel confident that we're doing the right thing for what we need today, but also what we need tomorrow. These projects are perfect for that. And if we can do our job as well as we should and are supposed to, then it's a win-win. And that's why we have as many happy customers as we do.
Well, and you talk about this on a federal level. You're also not subject to the incompetence of another state mismanaging their power grid and everyone else having to pay for that. I mean, that's something, it takes kind of that, moves some of that off the table of that. I appreciate that as well. I imagine a lot of those executives appreciate that too.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I love my job. A lot of it is because I get to speak with so many different business owners at all different levels. At the core of our good conversations is people wanting to make a difference and to save money, because everything is becoming so much more expensive to do. But also, I think a lot of the passion behind some of the projects that people typically engage with in businesses kind of gets left behind. It comes right to the forefront with these projects, and it's really something that we see across our entire coverage territory, which is all of Minnesota and beyond. Really resonates with our customers, and something that we're proud of too.
Obviously, if it's a new construction, obviously you guys can go in there from the get-go and take care of that. Generally, once again, too, but established businesses, established buildings, you guys have a lot of experience with this stuff. You guys can make it work no matter where you're talking about, right?
For sure. There's more new construction activity that's looking to incorporate just efficiencies in general than ever, and that will continue. So we are more active in the new construction space as an organization here than ever. But retrofitting buildings is still probably 90% of what we do. And I say buildings, but really taking an existing facility with a rooftop that's currently static and not necessarily generating any particular revenue for the business. It's just a roof over your head, and turning that into an energy system that actually drives value to the bottom line. There are considerations for which buildings are right for that and which maybe are not. And that's another part of that kind of transparency we need to bring to those early conversations. But we're specialists in that. We help customers figure out exactly what the right solution should be or could be for the property. And we'll tell somebody straight up if it doesn't feel like a good opportunity, and we'll tell them exactly why. And that doesn't mean they can't advocate for what we do, but we want to make sure that if we are retrofitting an existing facility with a new system like this, that that customer is getting exactly what they expect, and they're going to be set up for success for a really long time with the new project.
Michael, it's one of the things which the whole point of this entire conversation for me is there's corporations out there who might have I don't know if I want to do this. We've just basically shot down anything that you could say that doesn't work. We talked about cost, talked about the confusion of it all, talked about the ability to get it retrofitted to a building, the savings you're going to get. These are basic questions which sometimes discourage people from talking. We've just gone through them all. This is a good idea. And so this is now where you take over, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on Friday, sure. Because now is the chance for you. Okay, so we kind of knocked down those initial objections. Now is the time for you to go get the meat and potatoes about this and bring your business to Michael and All Energy Solar and actually get the more details about how your company can basically take advantage of this.
Yeah, thanks. And we're, we're opening our doors at our office in St. Paul. We're right by the fairgrounds off Energy Park Drive. Yeah. It's going to be a lunch and learn style format. So we're catering in lunch on Friday. It'll be from 12 to 1:30. And just what you said, Matt, we're going to take people through a little bit of the general information that we just discussed today, but really dig more into some of the policy changes, and in particular, some of the critical deadlines and timelines that are coming up over the next 12 to 24 months that will help customers get in the best position to leverage the most incentive and programming that's out there. And we also just want to bring people in to kind of see who we are and see the established organization we've got here, hear about a lot of different types of customers that we've served, see our office, see our warehouse, meet our team, and then hopefully take us up on the opportunity to do an evaluation, which is our cost of doing business, but we don't have the opportunity to do that unless we're invited to investigate. And that's what we do really well. So if there's any interest from the listeners out there to join us this Friday, our website. We have a special link to find out about this event and register for it. It's just allenergysolar.com/lunch. That should be easy to remember, but that gets you to a great set of details about the event. We welcome any business or commercial property owner to join us. We just ask that you RSVP, and we'd love to tell you more great information that can help you come to this type of decision here in the near future.
allenergysolar.com/lunch.
You got it. Everyone loves lunch.
It does. Well, and also for anyone out there, call All Energy Solar. Just give them a call. They'll help you out and get you all set up for this. And I do want to remind people, this is going to be on Friday, noon to 1:30 at their offices off right by the fairgrounds there. So easy to get to. And it's lunch on them for you to get the information. I mean, that's a win-win across the board. And it could end up saving you a lot of money in your company. And I think that at the end of the day, that's the key here. And it does work. I mean, we now know this is the way the rest of the world is going this way. You need to go this way too, because it's definitely going to be there are multiple advantages to do this. Michael, I appreciate the time. All my best on this. It's good to chat with you guys again. And thank you very much for the time today.
Thanks. We love all you guys at AM 950. Appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.
Michael Thalheimer is once again the Director of Business Development at All Energy Solar. Michael, thanks a bunch again, and all my best to you on Friday. Let's take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Wednesday.
Adventure is calling. Set sail with Treasure Island at Children's Theatre Company, where danger, discovery, and daring sword fights await. Follow young Jim Hawkins on a journey filled with mysterious maps, buried treasure, and the unforgettable Long John Silver. A legendary story brought to life with stunning visuals, live music, and heart-pounding action. Don't miss Treasure Island, September 9th through October 19th. Tickets at childrenstheatre.org.
I'm Rachel Schroman, owner of Schroman Law, and I believe you deserve information. Our firm offers free quarterly estate planning seminars at our office in St. Paul. At these seminars, you can learn the basics of estate planning from an attorney to help you determine which estate planning documents will meet your needs and goals in an efficient and cost-effective manner. You can learn more and register at our website, schromenlaw.com/events. That's SCHROMEN law.com/events.
Market Fresh Minnesota is your to-go destination for fresh vegetables, quality meats, seafood, and a wide variety of grocery staples. Locally owned and operated, Market Fresh Minnesota brings together the best of Asian foods in one welcoming store that is also kind to the pocketbook. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store, just south of Rosedale on 1800 County Road 36.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Mitch, owner of Junk Masters, your local independently owned junk removal team. We are not a franchise, and that means personalized service you can count on. Spring's the season for cleaning out the things you're ready to let go of. Whether it's one item or a full property cleanout, we handle it all, residential or commercial. You just show us what goes. With same-day service, upfront, no-obligation pricing, and a landfill diversion program that prioritizes donating, recycling, and reuse. Visit junkmastersmn.com to learn more.
God, I like this song, man. We might have to let's just play this for a little bit here. There you go. All right, fine. It's back to the show. It's the Matt McNeil Show here on your Wednesday. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Patrick, the Wild, they start their training camp tomorrow, correct, for the beginning of the season. When's their first game, the preseason game?
I think it's actually Friday they take on. I think it's the Stars on Friday.
Well, I mean, if you're a hockey player, do you ever really have an off season? I mean, they're like professional cyclists who aren't on steroids. They basically have to be on a bike all the time. I mean, are you ever not really? Do you ever take like a week off of not skating if you're a professional hockey player? Of course,
probably not.
No, of course not. So I'm not mistaken. Kirill Kaprizov. This is our superstar young stud from Russia. Apparently they gave him, what was the offer that was on the table? $128 million. He would have been the highest paid player in NHL history. He turned it down. What do you know? Do you know much about this? What's going on here, man?
Well, there are a lot of different angles, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about it. Because you'll get people who say, "Oh, these Russian journalists have said he just doesn't want to be here, and the team has asked him for a trade list." But if you look up these journalists, they don't really seem to exist. You just get fed back to the article that you Googled from, the name from that you saw. So there was some speculation from yesterday that means maybe there's something bigger, that some team has said, we'll give you this.
What would they give? I mean, they'd have to give half the damn team and all the draft picks for the next 5 years to get Kaprizov, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean the agents must have some sort of beat on what some team would be thinking in a hypothetical. Hey, if Kaprizov came to our team, what would we give him? And maybe there's something that they think they could get something bigger from somebody else still.
He's good. I mean, I remember Marian Gaborik. And I mean, that was a dude that liked playing for his national team far more than he liked playing for the Wild. Kaprizov seems to want to play for the Wild. I think he seems to understand, and maybe it's his countrymen over on the Capitals that basically getting the scoring title. That this is where your legacy is really solidified. That you basically it's why we don't know the best hitter in AAA baseball. You want to be the best at the top of the league. But, I just, it doesn't sound like, apparently the general manager of the Wild said, absolutely not. There is no other team. We are not talking to anyone. Kaprizov is going to be on Minnesota. It also sounds like, and I'm going to read this quote here from the Peter LeBrun. This is NHL Insider. That the offer remains on the table. The Minnesota Wild are not, let me repeat, are not engaged in talks with other teams. Their only focus is to try to re-sign him. They believe they still have the chance to re-sign him. They believe the player wants to stay. That's important because the rejection of that offer last week would get me out of the sentiment. That would have been a different conversation. But right now, the Wild do not believe that. They think that they have a shot at signing him right now. Until then, there's no point in the team's calling because the Wild don't want to take the calls. It's about trying to get him done. Frank Civarelli, the insider who shook the hockey world with the news that Kaprizov rejected the offer, said there is zero indication at all that Kaprizov has even thought about playing anywhere else but the Minnesota Wild. If you can, there are a handful of NHL franchises where if you play well, that you're considered, a god locally. Minnesota's one of them. You want to go down and play for Florida, you want to go play for them, you're a carnival act that occasionally, a small percentage of the town will care about. But, this is just, I got to believe. Do you think he's going to be with the Wild for a long time to come?
I think so. It sounds like it's just sort of, as the general manager said, this takes time. It's not something that was going to be done in 5 minutes. And
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the optics of turning down what was already the largest contract in NHL history is pretty scary, and it's hard to get around that. But I think there's, going to be some gamesmanship. There's going to be some back and forth. And like I said, the general manager said, this isn't going to happen tomorrow. This is going to take some time.
Well, and as you just said, it is the largest contract in NHL history. That's not something you just, it's not something you basically just throw out there. You got to make sure you got I's dotted, T's crossed. And I think we're not talking. I don't think they can offer him much more money. Is that correct too? Is that pretty much they're pretty close to the maximum they could offer? Any team could offer any player.
Yeah, I mean that's probably definitely true at that point.
So, all right. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, considering how the Vikes are looking and the situation with the Twins, although they almost did come back and beat the Yankees last night. That was kind of impressive. And the Gophers. Well, the Lynx. We got the Lynx, but they're in the playoffs now, and the season's going to end. And what am I going to do? Minnesota United. I'm going to go to a Minnesota United game this coming up here. Yeah, maybe I'll find something to root for there because we don't have a lot of happiness in this town right now in sports. It's the Lynx and everything else, and that's really what it is. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break, come back. I want to talk a little bit about the insane double standard that we saw on display yesterday in the news coverage of the shooting of the homeless encampments. I want to talk about that when we come back. 952-946-6205. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Wednesday.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire excels as a memory care community in the Twin Cities, located in Bloomington, and we have a new location in Medina. But what makes Welshire so different is the people that we have working for us. Our team has been together for the past 25 years providing this type of care. We employ some of the most amazing nurses and LPNs that are in the building 24 hours a day. We also have an activity team that is over 40 people. And our scheduling begins at 9 o'clock in the morning for activities, and it goes to 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's 7 days a week. You won't find that. That is why many of the families that come to Welshire are actually coming from another memory care facility. Not all memory care is created equally. And that's why I encourage you, if you've had issues and problems at other places, come see what makes us so special. Please visit thewelshiremn.com and book a tour.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser, and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms possible with a low of 66. Then Thursday, another chance of rain and storms with a high of 78. Grab the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. Don't forget the fresh fries or onion rings for a perfect combination. Mavericks is on Lexington Avenue, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Check them out at mavericksbeef.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. I have to tell you that yesterday I was incredibly disturbed at the way the shooting at these homeless encampments was covered. So I get it. You may not like the idea of the homeless and a homeless encampment. I get that it's something that people get bothered by. But they are human beings being shot at. The same way the kids were being shot at Annunciation Church and school. Charlie Kirk was shot at. The shootings we have nationwide, the state and the nationwide, every single day. Those are human beings who are being shot. We had 2 shootings of homeless people in basically less than 24 hours. 5 shot in one, 8, I think it was 8 shot in the other. And there was no pity. There was no concern about these people, human beings who'd been shot. The news media in this town only focused on the fight between the city and the landlord, which owned the property where the second homeless camp was shot up, and the subsequent removal of said homeless camp by the city, who on one side was trying to scream, "Oh, it's a crime scene," as they were chucking everything into a dumpster. That's not exactly how you treat a crime scene. And it seems as if you guys weren't treating it as a crime scene at all, just as an opportunity to get rid of homeless people off the streets. We had 2 shootings, mass shootings in the city. And because the news media and the people of the city have deemed the victims as some sort of second-class, second-tier human being? What the F is wrong with you people? We should all be bothered by the human beings being shot, regardless of where it happens. It's a tragedy. It's a crime. And by the way, I will mention, at least in one story, although O'Hara did imply that they do feel that these shootings are not connected, he did not rule that out. We have the second shooting, and the entire news cycle was about, what was that landlord thinking? Okay, if I may, he was thinking that he was trying to help the people that the government of this city has ignored. We used to be people that cared about homelessness. We used to care about the homeless population and try to find solutions to get people off the street. Now they are a nuisance like a beehive on a building. And you just grab a broom and you swat it away and say, not my problem now. The reason why, at least when I was reading some of this, wondering, when are you guys going to start saying, giving the names, giving the conditions of the individuals who were shot? When are you guys going to start covering that? I did read a little bit about this Minneapolis landlord, Hamoudi Sabri. And it seems like what he's doing is, I know you're about the Christian standard, trying to help the homeless by giving them a place to basically be able to stay. Now, I am not saying that it's feasible to expect them to turn into a suburb there. that all of a sudden you're going to allow a group of homeless people to stay on an empty lot, and they're all going to adorn business suits in their tents and start applying for jobs left and right. Homelessness is a freaking far more complicated issue than it is played out to be. And I mentioned this yesterday on this story. When the Democrats and the Republicans in this state worked together to try to end the homelessness in the veteran community, they understood that. They understood that this is there. But we should also, just because they're not veterans, consider all homeless people as this. This is a crime and a tragedy that there's homelessness out there. And yes, there's mental health issues. Yes, there are drug addiction issues. This is not just a grab the broom and knock it off the freaking side of the house. You guys didn't give a rat's caboose about 13 people being shot in this city. And as a matter of fact, the news media in this town almost acted like, well, they were asking for it. Were they? Were they? Nobody should be. What the hell happened to your humanity? I get it. The Star Tribune is tripping over themselves to try to appeal to Republicans and right-wing areas. So basically it's like, oh, they're not humans. Tired of you clowns. I'm tired of you guys. Stop it. But these are human beings that were shot in a mass shooting. 2 of them. It's extremely disturbing to read the neighbors. Oh, they were in our neighborhood and they were going to the bathroom in people's yards. Well, so I guess you're glad they were shot? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what anyone's saying in this, because the first thing should be priority 1. Oh my God, 8 people have been shot. And that was nowhere on the list. That was before fight with landlord and clearing the street and, I'm glad they're gone. Oh, and by the way, 8 people were shot. Human beings. At this point, usually we get the person is like, well, Mal, if you're so care, why don't you let them move over by the radio station? Why don't you let them move into your neighborhood? I don't freak out when I see a homeless person. I actually say a prayer for them. This is a societal issue. You want what do you want? Here in this case, here is an individual trying to solve this problem that the government hasn't solved. And now your argument is, well, the government needs to take care of it. But when the government doesn't do that, then the first thing is, well, an individual should take care of it. You've created the ultimate vicious circle on homelessness, that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And instead of real leadership in this city dealing with the homelessness crisis, we get petty small things. We get a bunch of people grabbing brooms to knock a beehive off a house. Acting like that's solving any damn thing. Shame on all you people. Shame on all you people that you had 2 mass shootings and you just didn't care because the people that were shot were icky people in your mind, I guess. The only time it was covered as a shooting was to say, oh man, Minneapolis again. So it wasn't about the concern for fellow human beings. It was only yet another opportunity to be able to say how much Republican person hates Minneapolis. I don't know what to do in this country right now. I should note that most of the politicians who are dealing in Minneapolis are Democrats or further to the left. These are the people that are supposed to be caring about other people. These are supposed to be the people out there trying to find answers. Instead, you're grabbing freaking brooms. Selfish, jackassian Republicans, I understand. I don't expect that much from them. They basically feel as if they are admonished for their week-long worth of being a jerk to everybody by taking 5 seconds in church and saying, yeah, pray for the rest of them. And that's all they do. They could care less. What happened to our humanity here? I'm not saying I endorse necessarily what Sabri was trying to do, but what happened to a city saying, you know what, hey, we appreciate you as a landlord trying to find a solution. Here are the programs we have in place. You know, by all means, let's get these people into a shelter. Let's get them drug recovery, treatment if they need it, mental health treatment. Let's address the reasons they're there, as opposed to treating them like a raccoon that's coming after your pumpkin on the freaking front porch. Where were the headlines? 2 mass shootings, 13 people shot. Pray for those victims. Where's any of that? Because those victims were icky in your minds, I guess. You know, Donald Trump is winning when we are at this point. Leadership is finding solutions. I'm grateful for Tim Walz. I'm very grateful that he is going to run for a 3rd term. There are a handful of politicians, talked to Peggy Flanagan this week, outstanding individual, trying hard to make life better for all Minnesotans, not just a handful. I like my House member, Cheryl Youakim. I think she's the Democratic lead on the Education Committee. I think she does a great job. But it's becoming clearer to me that the quality people that are trying to help others, we're getting fewer and fewer out there. And it might not be as pathetic as the right, where Republicans are only concerned about their followers on their social media pages and what gets clicks and likes. But don't fool yourself. The Democrats, I have learned sadly this year, there's a lot of Democrats that just have their own personal axes to grind, and they will use anything to push their agenda, regardless of whether or not it helps anyone else or not. And that's proof of where we're at today. 13 people got shot in 2 mass shootings. And not only was there zero freaking concern in this town about 13 people shot, which there should be, there almost seemed to be this mentality of, well, thank God we got rid of that homeless encampment. As I sit and stare and wonder what the hell has happened to us. I don't know. Shame on all you. Shame on all of you. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. All of you, meaning the people that applies to. All right, not everybody, for God's sakes, because there's a lot of people out there who I guarantee you are agreeing wholeheartedly with how did we get to this point. Let's take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Wednesday.
Hi, Penny here from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Exciting news. During the warmer months, we're extending our charm to the patio. Imagine savoring your favorite dishes outside, surrounded by the lively energy of South Minneapolis near 26th and Lindale. And guess what? Nightingale's patio is not just a dining space. It's also dog-friendly. Craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price bottles of wine on Mondays are still part of the deal. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale, where good times and great flavors come together.
This year, the adventure is calling louder than ever before. Craft your own magic at the Wicked Wand Workshop. Race for glory at the Ninja Warrior Challenge. Or battle for honor at the Viking Invasion. Plus, enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting or slay your hunger with tasty turkey legs. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival is back with new adventures. Get your tickets now at renaissancefest.com. Huzzah!
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. By the way, if you've not paid attention to what the Brits are doing, okay, so imagine you have a incredibly wealthy family and you have a kid who's getting their little boy birthday party, and they bring in the juggler and the clown and the bouncy house and a water sled, and there's going to be helicopter rides and all these things. They've literally shut Trump up at Windsor Castle, surrounded by security, and they're basically doing that for him to try to appease a grown freaking man. And I can only imagine Trump going, more helicopter ride. It's just, he's apparently, by the way, also the White House sent their own sheets. Now I'm going to take a guess that when you go and stay with the royal family in England, that you're not sleeping on the discount rack over at Target or anything like that, that you're actually getting pretty high-end sheets. But apparently Trump brought his own, which has led to people speculating that he didn't want to go with the higher quality sheets of the royals of Britain because of his face makeup. Or maybe he's leaking. Ugh. 952-946-6205. Maybe he is. I don't know. One little story here, and this actually I caught when I was in Chicago, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned this as well. I want to thank all the people who's like, I don't need to clean out my boat. I don't need to clean out my live well bait hole. I don't need to do that because thanks to you, we now have problems on some of the more prestigious lakes. For years, Vermilion and Cabotagama seemed special. Minnesota's only other large and heavily fished lakes fell one by one to zebra mussels infestations. The two sprawling wood giants of the northern St. Louis County remained clean. Many hope that the unusually low amount of calcium in the two waters made it impossible for the devastating invasive species to grow their shells. Those hopes were dashed recently when the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources found zebra mussels larvae in both lakes as well as in nearby Crane and Namakan, so the northern border lakes as well. Great. God, it's just, yeah. It's, do you have to keep disappointing us? Yeah, I don't want to have to clean up my boat. That's wussy people do that. Wussy people do that. What do you mean those lakes now? My lake, that's my lake. Exactly. The discovery could upend the ecosystem and change the way people fish, boat, and swim in one of the largest, most widely used lakes in northern Minnesota. Local residents and guides are hopeful, though, that the lake's nutrient makeup will stave off the devastation. It's very sad, said Jeff Forrester, really, executive director of the Minnesota Lakes and Rivers Association, and it's preventable. Thank you, Forrester. Yeah, it is. It is. It 100% is. Never underestimate the laziness of some people to basically screw things up for everybody else. Because I guarantee you, I'm going to just say this without a doubt in my mind, the minute that they found the zebra mussels and this story came on out, that the people who probably were responsible knew right away, I hope that wasn't when we didn't drain off our live well. And then, of course, they immediately came up with the things like, well, it wasn't us. We were always safe. We never did that. Because, yeah, stupid people always look for other people to blame. Example, Donald Trump. There you go. It's proof positive. Native Roots Radio is up next. Have a good one. We are back on a Thursday. Till then, see ya.
Hey, it's Patrick